Hey everybody, Captain B-Nard back here with another Wi-Fi battle. Exciting day today because as promised I do have a brand new team for you guys. First one in a little while, I know. We are going to get in all of that in just 1 second here, but our first match with that team today is going to be against Noel. And so, yeah, looking at my brand new team here on the left-hand side, we have a lot of Pokemon that I've never used before. Those are going to be the Sprite, the Regidrago, the Hisuian Electrode, the Sneasler, and the Dondozo. And of course we do have one Pokemon in the Bisharp that I have used before, although it has been quite a long time since that. So, yeah, as I had mentioned in the last video, I've really been chomping at the bit to use this team. I made it several weeks ago at this point, actually, and I've kind of been waiting to use it until the league was over here. And so since the regular season of the league is over, I decided we're going to go ahead and fit some battles in with this team while we're waiting for the playoffs to start. So looking at my opponent's team, it is very powerful looking indeed. So what do I want to lead with here? Not a whole lot of time to decide, but I think the answer is going to be the Hisuian Electrode, actually. And yeah, we'll see how that works out. So as you guys know, this is my first new singles team since the Pokemon Home update, so most of these Pokemon are ones that were not previously available on Scarlet and Violet before that Home update, so definitely very excited to give this team a try and see how it does. So, there he is, and it looks like he's going to lead with the Grimmsnarl as we lead with the Electrode. So, not too bad for us here. We have a couple options, but I think this thing will probably just try to set screens up on us if I had to guess, so I think we're just going to go for the Choice Specs Volt Switch here, see what he wants to do. He does indeed go for the Reflect, which will give a physical defense increase to all of his Pokemon for several turns. We go for the Volt Switch, Choice Specs boosted, takes it down by about half, which is great damage, and we do get the Pivot. So off of that, I think we're actually going to go ahead and come in with the Sneasler, actually. We'll do that. So, yeah, I'm actually pretty excited to use some of these Pokemon, because as you guys know, I didn't play Legends Arceus, so I never got a chance to use any of the Hisuian Pokemon before, so I'm definitely interested to use some of them now. So, I think what we're going to want to do here is we're actually just going to go ahead and go straight for the Dire Claw on this thing, as he is in fact going to Parting Shot to switch out, so that does cut our attack and special attack, as it does pivot him out. So this might end up being bad depending on what he brings in, so we'll have to see what he wants to bring in off of that, and it is going to be the Hisuian Goodra, unfortunately, and so since we do go for the Dire Claw, not going to do anything to that thing. So we have to switch out, obviously, because we're Choice Band locked into the Dire Claw, so our best switch to this thing is probably going to be the Bisharp. So yeah, we're just going to go straight into our Bisharp here and see where that gets us. So there it is. And he's actually going to double switch the Goodra out, interestingly enough, and he's going to go ahead and switch directly into the Glamora. So that thing's coming in here, and yeah, so now we're in an interesting situation. If we attack this thing, obviously it sets up Toxic Spikes on us, although we do have, obviously, the Sneasler that can absorb those. So I think we actually do just Iron Head this thing right away, take it down to its sash that it probably has. So that's what we're going to do. Just want to try and get this thing out of the way, as this thing actually has a Quick Claw, unfortunately, to move first, and it's going to go for a Spiky Shield, so that's interesting. So we go for the Iron Head, unfortunately, as that is going to not do anything, and it is actually going to, I believe, hurt us a little bit. Yes, so that's unfortunate, but kind of is what it is. He definitely may not want to stay in on this matchup this turn. I think what we're going to do We probably should have done this last turn, but I think we're actually just going to Stealth Rock, get that hazard up, as he's going to get another Quick Claw activation, so 2 in a row, which is extremely unfortunate. He's actually just going to go ahead and set his Stealth Rock up, which does suck, so he's going to get the hazards up on us, as we go for the Stealth Rock to get the entry hazards up on him in return. So yeah, unfortunately, I think he's probably just going to go for another Spiky Shield this turn, so I think we're probably just going to take this opportunity to switch out, and I think we're going to actually... he could Spiky Shield or he could try to attack us, but either way, I think Mesprit is the right switch, as he actually switches the Glamora out himself directly into the Toad Scroll. Not 100% sure what he's predicting there, but he comes in with that, takes the Stealth Rock damage as we switch the Bisharp out, and we go ahead and switch directly into the Mesprit. So we take some Stealth Rock damage from that, and then we are going to regain some HP with the leftovers. So I think what we do here is we actually pack an Ice Beam, and because our move pool is so wide, he may well not anticipate that we have that. So I say we actually just go for the Ice Beam here, see where that gets us. He's actually going to Rapid Spin. He outspeeds. That does a little bit of chip damage, increases his speed, gets rid of the Stealth Rock, but luckily for us, we're packing the Ice Beam, we go for it, we're max special attack, and it's still not enough, actually, to take the Toad Scroll out, which is kind of interesting to me. That's must be a maximally specially defensive Toad Scroll there, so that is quite unfortunate, but we do take it down into the red, which is nice. So he easily could switch out this turn. I kind of think he will. So I think what we're going to do here... I think he very easily could switch out here, but even so, I think we actually just Ice Beam again, just in case he doesn't, but he actually does stay in, goes for the knockoff, doesn't do too much damage to us, does get rid of our leftovers, which is unfortunate, but then we are just going to go for an Ice Beam and finish this thing off. So their Toad Scroll goes down, and he goes down to 5, which is nice, and unfortunately we don't get any leftovers recovery, as the Reflect is going to wear off this turn. So we'll see what he wants to do now. He's actually just going to go ahead and come right back in with the Grimmsnarl. So he's probably going to try to reset screens here, if I had to guess. I think our best play here is to actually just go to the Bisharp. So that's what we're going to do, is we actually are packing a move that can actually get rid of the screens once he sets them. So we're going to go ahead and come back in with the Bisharp here, and we are going to take the Stealth Rock damage, as he is going to Light Screen. So that's going to go ahead and increase the special defense of all of his Pokemon for several turns, as I think we take this opportunity to just reset the Stealth Rock, so that's what we're going to do here. He can't Parting Shot us, I don't think. I think it fails against the Dark type, as he actually indeed is just going to straight up withdraw the Grimmsnarl here, and he's going to switch directly into the Glamora. So that thing's coming in, and we are just going to go ahead and reset our Stealth Rock here, which is definitely good news for us. So yeah, that's good news for us. So in this situation, he may well just Spiky Shield here, which would be unfortunate, but I don't think there's much we can do about that. I think he probably doesn't have much to do aside from just go for a Spiky Shield, so I think what we are going to do... How do we want to play this? I think we just go back into the Mesprit here. I think that's the play, as he probably just Spiky Shields, so we're just going to attempt to get a free switch in with the Mesprit. So there it is, and we are going to take some Stealth Rock damage, unfortunately, as he goes for a Power Gem. Interesting. So he probably predicted the switch there. Does a lot of damage to us, actually, knocking us down to about a quarter, but we do survive. We probably can't take another one of those, unfortunately, so I think we're actually just going to try to fire off a Mystical Power here, as he's going to Mortal Spin, which is interesting. So that is going to poison us, unfortunately, and I believe it also gets rid of the Stealth Rock, which does suck. We go for the Mystical Power in return, though, and it actually doesn't do too much damage to that thing. Only takes it down by about a third, but we do get a special attack increase, which is nice. Unfortunately, we take some poison damage, and we definitely can't survive another attack from this thing. So I think we know this thing's full set already, and it actually can't touch Bisharp. So I think what we're going to do is just switch back into the Bisharp and kind of save the Mesprit for fodder for later, even though we know we can't switch in on Stealth Rock, as he actually switches the Glamora out, which is interesting, and he's going to switch it into the Goodra, interestingly enough. So, yeah, we're going to go ahead and switch the Mesprit out and come in with the Bisharp once again here. So we do take the Stealth Rock damage, and so I think we're going to have a little bit of a choice on our hands here. He has 3 more turns of the light screen, which is going to give him that special defense increase. We could get rid of that with the Brick Break, or we could reset the hazards. I think I'm actually just going to take this chance to reset the Stealth Rock here, as we actually outspeed this thing. Go for the Stealth Rock to get the hazards back up, which is nice for the 3rd time in this game, as he goes for a Body Press, which is really unfortunate. We actually do survive that with 7 HP in the red, which is crazy. That Eviolite coming in for us clutch, as now I think we just go for a Brick Break to try and get as much damage as possible, as that's what we do. It breaks the screen, takes him down by a little less than half, which is nice. But unfortunately, he is just going to go now for a Chilling Water, which will obviously be more than enough to finish our Bisharp off and knock us down to 5. So I think what we want to do here, what to do. How do we want to handle this? I think we switch in with the Sneasler. I think that's the play here. That's our best option. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to come in with that, take the Stealth Rock damage. And so he has some pretty obvious switches to the close combat here. So I think what we might want to do, predicting the switch on his side, I think we just probably go for the U-turn here. I think that's our best option. So yeah, we're just going to U-turn predicting his switch, as he indeed does switch the Goodra out, which is going to be good for us, and he's going to be switching in the Glamora, unfortunately. So that thing's coming in. It does take Stealth Rock damage, which is nice. We do U-turn, which does chip damage, knocking it down about a quarter. Unfortunately, does trigger the Toxic Debris to set a layer of Toxic Spikes up on our side of the battlefield. So that is unfortunate. And so that means that pretty much anything we bring in here is going to get poisoned. Now, we do have the option of actually switching in. We have a couple options here, but I think I do kind of have a little bit of a plan here, and I think our best play is actually to switch the Hisuian Electrode back in. So that's what we're going to do. So there that is. We are going to take the Stealth Rock damage and then get poisoned, unfortunately. But the good news is we definitely outspeed this thing as we take some poison damage, and any attack we go for will be more than enough to take this thing out, I believe, from this range. So I think we actually just go for the Volt Switch straight away. I think that's our best option. So that's what we're going to do, as he's going to get another Quick Claw activation. Jesus. So he actually goes for a Spiky Shield to scout, which is interesting. So Volt Switch obviously going to be blocked by that, but that's kind of fine. That's best case scenario. So yeah, we do take some poison damage, so he stalls out another turn of poison, which is unfortunate, but at least he didn't go for like a Mortal Spin or something, because that would have been worst case scenario. So I say we just Volt Switch again here and hope that the Quick Claw doesn't activate again. So that's what we're going to do. Thankfully it doesn't activate for like the 20th time this game. We go for the Volt Switch. It's more than enough to take the Glamora out, and that knocks him down to 4, which is nice. And we do get the Pivot out, which is also nice, because that means we can bring the Sneasler back in to get rid of those Toxic Spikes right away. So that's exactly what we're going to do. Don't want any more of our team poisoned than is necessary. So we take a little more Stealth Rock damage, but get rid of the Toxic Spikes. So now we will see what he wants to come in with in response to that. And it is going to be the Grimmsnarl, interestingly enough. So that thing is coming in, and he is going to take some Stealth Rock damage. So unfortunately, we can't really stop this thing from setting up at least one screen. he still has, unfortunately, he has an immunity to a poison attack if we go for that. He has an immunity to fighting if we go for that. So I think our best play here... It's going to be difficult, honestly, to decide what our best play is, but I think I don't want to let this thing set 2 screens up on us, because that would be really bad. So I think we're going to risk then hope. This is a tough one, actually. We have to lock into something. I think we actually close combat here and hope that he doesn't come in with the Skeledirge. So he actually goes for the Reflect. Okay, so he stays in, goes Reflect. Gonna get that physical defense increase for his Pokemon for several turns. We go close combat, and it is enough even through the Reflect to go ahead and take that thing out, which is incredible, and that is going to knock him down to 3. It does cut our defenses in the process, but worth it to get rid of that thing, and he only got the Reflect up, which is good. The only bad news is we are choice locked into close combat now, so if he does come in with the Skeledirge, it's going to force a switch, obviously, on our side. And I imagine that's probably what he's going to do, but we'll have to see. So, let's see what he wants to do here. So, in fact, he is going to come in with the Skeledirge, unfortunately, so there's that thing. And he is going to take the Stealth Rock damage, which is nice. And so, yeah, we obviously cannot stay in on this matchup. I say this is probably the time to sack Mesprit off so we can get a clean switch into something else. So that's exactly what we're going to do here. So yeah, switching out that Sneasler into the Mesprit, which does go down to the Stealth Rock damage there. And that's going to knock us down to 4, but that does give us a clean switch later, which is nice, as he is just going to go for a Will-O-Wisp, so good thing that we avoid getting hit by that. So he is then going to regain some HP with his leftovers as well. So we have to bear in mind the Reflect is still up, which means that he is going to have physical defense increase for several turns. One thing he does not have, though, is a special defense increase, so I'm thinking now is definitely our chance to go ahead and come in with our Regidrago. So that's what we're going to do. We take some Stealth Rock damage, which is fine, but at this point, I think we can actually relatively safely go for a huge Dragon Energy on something, so that's exactly what we're going to do, as he is going to go ahead and bust out the Terra, unfortunately. And what type is he going to Terra into here? It is going to be Fairy, so that's super unfortunate. Probably should have anticipated that. He does go Terra Fairy, so that really sucks. As we do outspeed, go for the Dragon Energy, and obviously not going to touch this thing because now it's a Fairy type, and he is then going to Will-O-Wisp, so that is going to land to burn us. So that's not the end of the world since we are a special attacker, but obviously we got wasted a turn right there. So we do get some HP back with the leftovers, as he's also going to get some HP back with the leftovers, then we are going to lose that damage outright to the burn. So we're in an interesting situation because we actually are Terra Steel and we're packing Terra Blast Steel. I kind of don't want to go all in on the Terra with Regidrago, though. I kind of don't want to do that. So I feel like what we do instead here is we might actually switch into the Electrode. I think that's the play. So we're actually going to switch back to the Hisuian Electrode here. He probably doesn't go for the fire attack here, just because obviously Regidrago resists it. So we're going to come in with that, take some Stealth Rock damage. Hope we can take attack from this thing. He's going to go for a Hex, and can we take it? No, unfortunately we can't take it, so that's going to take us out and knock us down to 3, as he does get more HP back with the leftovers. So now we're in a little bit of a tight spot. Also, timer's running low. I think our best play here is actually to go into the Sneasler once again. So the Dire Claw is really obvious right now as we come in with the Sneasler, take that Stealth Rock damage. I'm going to predict that he doesn't stay in here and he actually switches back to the Goodra, so I'm going to go U-turn here and see what he does, as indeed he does switch out, so that's exactly what I wanted. And he is going to switch into the Goodra, so that is what I wanted to see. That thing comes in, he takes some Stealth Rock damage as we go for the U-turn, and that does some chip damage to this thing and also lets us pivot out, which is kind of what we need. So, I think with that, we're actually going to pivot into our... What do we do? Oh, time's running low. We pivot into the Dondozo here. I think that's our play. And so I think our play here as we take some Stealth Rock damage is we are going to get some HP back with the leftovers as well. I think we're going to go ahead and bust out a Terra of our own here. Terra Ground to be precise, and we're going to hit this thing up with a Terra boosted Earthquake. That's our plan here. So I'm going to go ahead and terrestrialize our Dondozo of all things. Definitely not what I was anticipating doing, but the situation calls for it, so we're going to go Terra Ground on the Dondozo. So there it is, and he is going to outspeed us. What attack is he going to go for? He's going to go for a Chilling Water, which is actually now super effective against us, hilariously enough, and it drops our attack, which sucks. But we are going to go for an Earthquake here. It is Terra boosted. Is it enough? No, it's not nearly enough to take the Goodra out, unfortunately. So that was kind of a big bust, and then we get some HP back with the leftovers as there's less than a minute remaining in the battle. So let's just go ahead and go for another Terra boosted Earthquake here, see what he wants to do. He stays in, goes Acid Spray. Not going to do too much damage, but it does lower our special defense harshly as we go for the Earthquake in return. Is this Earthquake enough to take this thing out? And it is indeed enough to take the Hisuian Goodra out, knocking him down to just 2 Pokemon with 30 seconds left on the timer as we do get some HP back with the leftovers. So, he's got the Skeledirge and the Moth Volcarona left, as now he comes in with the Volcarona, and he does not take any Stealth Rock damage, obviously. We only have 1 turn left in the game, so we're just going to go ahead and switch to the Regidrago. Obviously, we don't want to let him take us out. So we're just going to switch directly into the Regidrago here as time runs out. And we take some Stealth Rock damage here as he does go for the Giga Drain. Not going to do much of any damage to us. And yeah, we're going to regain some HP from the leftovers, lose that damage right back to the burn. And yeah, unfortunately the timer is up, so that is going to be game as his Reflect finally wears off there. And so yeah, we just click Earth Power here, but it doesn't matter as time is up, the battle is over, and that is going to be game. So we are actually going to get the win there, 3-2 versus Noel, but that was actually a really good match, a highly competitive game there, really solid one. And yeah, we do get a technicality win there, 3-2 over our opponent, Noel. But yeah, unfortunately, the timer just kind of is what it is. And yeah, the timer playing a factor here in the game. But yeah, even despite that, I think that was a really solid game all in all. So yeah, that's it. Thanks for watching again, everybody. Hope you all enjoyed it. Please hit that like button, leave a comment, and or subscribe if you did enjoy, and stay tuned for more new battles in the future. So that's it, and we'll see you next time.